So I've had this wooden chair in the shed that I was going to save for the greenhouse, but I've decided that I want a more kind of comfortable, kind of sit and relaxing kind of chair, and this is not one of those chairs. So because it's been in the shed and I don't want this material on there, I'm just taking it apart. I mean, it's a nice wooden chair, so I might as well use it. So, and since I'm going to have the paint out, painting that front board, I'm going to paint it the same color, the chair the same color, and then I'll show you the material that I'm going to use to make the curtain. I'm going to use as the chair seat cover. So I'm just taking out the screws, and then I'll take that pad off and, you know, take the material off and the padding off. Not sure what I'll use for padding, but I will certainly use that. Okay, yep, it came out, so I'm just gonna take that off and save this as a template for the material that I'm gonna use. And the padding on here is pretty squished down anyways, and like I said, it's been in the shed, so who knows what has happened to this cloth. So I'm gonna get it inside and get it cleaned up so that I can paint it. Okay, what I'm doing is actually just pulling the material up. Sorry, that honking was Amazon driver. They delivered some of these plant hanger, they're self-adhesive hangers. That way I can attach them to back of plates because I have plant hangers, but plate hangers, but they're not big enough to accommodate some of the bigger plates that I have. And then this clock that I'm going to end up doing a gold treatment to. I just have to go and get some rub and buff the gold, but it'll get a battery and go on the shelf in the meantime until I get the rub and buff on it. So because I want to do an antique gold rub and buff, that way it'll kind of match the mirror. So there's kind of a sneak peek of stuff getting decorated. So anyways, I'm just going to pull all of this up. I was going to use this as a template, but it's so nasty that I don't think I even want it touching the material that I'm going to use for this. As it is, I'm going to Lysol this when I'm done. This is one of our dining room chairs. But anyways, I'm going to get this pulled up, and then I'm going to get the chair cleaned up and get it painted, and this board right here painted. So that was pretty easy. It literally took like 2 minutes. So what I'm going to do is get the chair cleaned up now and get that cleaned up and then get started painting. And then after that, I'm going to start sewing. use, because this is what white chalk paint I have on hand. It's called Casement by Fusion Mineral Paints. Make sure you can see that okay. You can. And then I'm just using some pink acrylic paint. It's called Bubblegum, but it's not going to be that pink. I'm just going to tone it way down to where it's barely pink. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up quite a bit of this because I want it to do the chair and that front board. So, and maybe one of the legs, I'm not sure. So anyways, I'm going to get this mixed up, and then the chalk paint is a primer, has a primer. It is a primer too. So, and when I'm all done, then I'll go over it with like a white wax if I need to, or just a clear wax. So I'm going to get this mixed up and then put down some towels and get painting. Okay, so what I did was, oops, see if I can do this way. Probably not. Hold on. I'll just pick up the... Anyways, I just dumped in some of that white paint and then did a few squirts of the pink, and now I'm just mixing it up, and I think it'll be good to go. Okay, that looks a lot darker than it really is, but I think it'll be just fine as long as my cat doesn't get in my way. So, and I am going to do all of the bottom too, so, because I don't like stuff left undone and it's a chair. So anyways, I just tilted it upside down and just going to get painted. I'll show you when I'm done, because I'm not going to film myself painting. I am using my good chalk paint brush though. It's a zebra. So just because I am using my good chalk paint. So, and it goes on amazing coverage. Okay, I've got two heavy coats on there. So it's still a little streaky in spots. Let me turn the light on, it's a little bit better. So I'm going to let that dry completely, and then I'm going to get on another coat. I had to make up some more, and then I did get the front of that board covered. So, and it's not going to be really seen, it's just if it can be seen in spots, I want it to be painted. So anyways, I'm just getting this, letting this time to dry. I didn't do that part right there because it's going to be truly covered. So anyways, Gypsy the cat kind of approves. I hope she doesn't have paint on her now. But yeah, I probably should have sanded it first, but I didn't. And what doesn't cover really well, I'll just cover with white wax or distress it and then cover with white wax. So anyways, I'm liking it so far. Okay, 3 coats, whether it likes it or not. 3 coats is going to be fun. It's going to be plenty, I should say. And then there's that front board and the one leg. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry overnight, or at least until tonight. And I'm going to get started sewing on the curtain that's going to cover all of this. And I'm going to show you what I'm using. And don't mind all this. This has to go to people and go to storage, so then it'll be all out of here. And I think I'm going to eventually put this chair out in the greenhouse because it'll work just fine. And if the greenhouse is covered, then it won't get wet, but I think it'll be fine, and that way I don't have to get rid of it. But it's not a wicker chair, but it'll work. Anyways, I'm going to show you what I'm going to use, but nobody freak out on what I'm using, or don't send me hate comments or anything like that. So hold on and I'll get it. Okay, I'm going to use this quilt top. It is very old, but it is also stained and brittle and falling apart. And I don't have, I don't know how to do this. And see, it's would need a whole section repaired. It's literally falling apart. So instead of falling apart even more on a shelf that's not getting used, I'm going to pretend that I just bought it in a thrift store and that it wasn't given to me. Actually, I don't know which relative it came from, to be honest, at this point. So I have a feeling it was on my grandma's side. And I could hang it It could be used as a shower curtain, you know, the outer part of a shower curtain, but then it would hang and it would also deteriorate and rip even more. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. So I'm going to use that as this curtain and the top of the chair pad for that. And depending on how much material I have left is what I will use it for. I was hoping to be able to make my front curtain for that. And I might be able to. So we'll see. I have another tablecloth that I'm going to use if this won't work for at least the front of that, but I think it will. So there's a lot here and there's a lot of work. So I hate for it just to sit on a shelf and deteriorate. I really do. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but for me to have somebody do this, you know, to quilt it for me, and then to use it, it would be so brittle that I would be afraid to use it. I don't have a twin bed. Actually, I think it's a full. We wouldn't use it on our bed. Our bed's a queen, and our dog gets up there. I wouldn't want it to get ruined up there, so I'm kind of justifying that I'm still using it. So yeah, it's stained. There's a big, huge stain right here, and it could be cleaned and all that, but I'm just gonna choose to use it how I want to use it. So anyways, I'm gonna show you when I get that all done. So I've got the curtain all done, and I went ahead and just measured up from when it hits, just barely touches the ground, up to here, and then I marked it, and then I pre-drilled the holes and just hung these little curtain things. Hopefully I don't regret doing that by catching my leg on them. But so I'm going to go ahead and get that on there, and I'll show you what it is and get this video wrapped up. All right, it's up. It's a little uneven on the bottom, but the top is even as far as measurements go. So I can live with that. That's fine. And when I did this rod pocket, I thought I was measuring enough to be able to hold that, and it is snug. So I need to mess with this in here a little bit, but I can scooch this down some, but in some spots it is. And the fabric is so brittle that I was actually tearing it just by sewing it. So to do that as a quilt top, I feel better now about it, but to do that as a quilt top, I wouldn't have been able to use it. So this way I can. Anyways, and the paint is dry on this, so I'm going to get that seat put on there and get it moved over there. And then as soon as that is done, I will show you that and then wrap up this video for sure. Okay, this is where I'm having to improvise. The piece of padding that I wanted to use, I couldn't find. So I just took a little tiny small, what was like a decorative pillow, and I just took the padding out of that, which is going to work just fine. And then I had to measure that shelf, and this material is not going to work for it. So I'm going to use it for the padding anyways. So I'm going to see if I can do this. So basically I'm going to put this on here for the side that I want to be able to be seen for sitting on. Make sure it's all kind of squared up. And then what I will do is I will flip it over. And actually I think I want more. I really don't want that pattern there as much, so I might see which. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. But so I'm going to get that on there straight as I can, and then I'm going to flip it over and make sure there's enough room on each side to be able to tuck it over and staple. Okay, I ended up scooching it down a little bit so that I don't have that much waste, so that I can use the excess for something. I don't know what, but so then what I do is I pull, I'm going to pull that, I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to pull that super tight. I'm going to put a staple. I might even scooch it a little bit more. And then you do this side, this side, this side, and then you start working around and you save your corners for last. Okay, I have one staple in, and even just pulling on this snug was starting to rip some of this cotton. That tells you how old and brittle this is. So I know I keep coming on here and saying something, but so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to follow the line and I'm going to staple it down because this has a little bit of a curve to it. And I'm going to staple it down. And then I'll do this other side. I keep doing the sides and then eventually you get to the corners. And then I'll just pleat them in, you know, to where something like this. But I'll show you. Okay, so once you're satisfied with all the staples going all the way around, I'm going to add a couple more in here. Then what you do is you kind of fold this in and pleat it really nice. I mean, no one's going to see it really, but, and then you staple that down. Same with here. So, okay. Sits in there really nice. Now I'm just going to turn it over and get it screwed in. I might do a coat of white wax on there real quick. And this is what I'm using, the Waverly white wax, water-based. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush it on and then I'm going to wipe it off. So this is what it looks like right now without it. Okay, this is super up close because I'm working right here, but I have a really old corbel. I had two of them that were just sitting outside getting dust, and I need something, hey, I need something right there that's not round, that's not really rectangular. I have enough round going right there, so I can't put a wreath. I'm trying to use what I have on hand. So I had thought about a hanging basket with some florals coming out of it, but what I'm going to try to do is create a just an architectural piece, and I am going to hang a wreath from it. So I have a hook, let's see, right there that I'm going to attach. I might attach a smaller one, and then hang some greenery with some white roses or something to kind of tie everything in. So that's kind of like my dilemma space right now. And I was going to use one of these sawtooth hangers, but these little bitty tiny nails, this has a little bit of weight to it, so I really don't want that falling on my printer and breaking everything and breaking. These are actually really old. They came out of an old Victorian house in a nearby town that I used to live in. So I want to kind of use it, and I'm not going to change a thing. I did kind of scrape some of the frog poop off and wiped it down a little bit, but I didn't want to wipe it down too bad because I didn't want to break off some of the paint. So I just took a little tiny screwdriver and marked a little hole to get that started. And these are just those eye screws. And then I'll take some picture hanging wire and I will just loop the death out of it to where it does not fall off. Because of the wire, if anything, it'll come out of here, but it's tightening up pretty good. So I'm gonna get that finished and show you. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And then here's the front of it. I left all the cracked and just goodness on the front side for interest. So yeah, see, these couldn't be used for anything else really because they're so deteriorated, but they're just perfect for decor. I just saw these in a thrift store. I think they were $15 or $20 a piece, and I think I had bought them because one of my former clients, her husband was in construction and had did a demo, and so they had a bunch of these. So I think I bought them for like $5 a piece, like 7 or 8 years ago. And they've just been sitting on the back porch. I only bought 2 at the time. I was so dumb. I should have bought 4, but I bought 2. So now I'm gonna see about getting it hung on the wall. So I just hung one of those picture hangers. It just nailed right in there. And then on the back I'm going to put 2 of these buffers so that it doesn't bump into the wall and kind of scratch the wall. These are just those peel and stick little, I think they go on the bottom of chairs, but I'm going to use it on the back of those. And I might end up using some Gorilla Tacky to just really keep it in place, but we'll see. Okay, I've got it hung. And It's not proportioned like those plates are, but I plan on putting something small in here. I just don't know what yet. I wanted to get that piece up first, which is kind of center over the printer. And then I'll put something small there, whether it's like a little picture or a little architecture piece or something, but just right there. So I'm gonna get the wreath made and then I will show you that, guys, and touched this video. And then, oops, I just lost the back of the I just lost those chair pads, so I'm gonna go get some Gorilla Tacky. Hold on. So this is what I mean by, well, I called it Gorilla Tacky, but it's mounting putty. So, and it's removable, and I just tear off a hunk or two and then kind of warm it up, kind of mush it, and then I put it behind pictures and anything hanging on the wall that I don't want to move. Since this is the wall that the door is on and that door is sticking right now for some reason, I don't want that to just kind of shimmy loose. So yeah, I like it. Okay, that's pretty simple. It's not a ton of florals. Like I said, I'm going to figure out something about right there. I'm not sure what, but yeah. Whatever I figure out is going to go right there, I will put it in a future video. But I'm thinking like maybe a little landscape picture. I mean, just a little one. So I need to find a little frame. I'm sure I have one laying around here somewhere, and just print off one like from Etsy or something. So I've been looking at quite a few of them, but anyways, kind of fun. So I think I'm gonna wrap this video up. That way not all the fluffing, as I call it, which is kind of just putting all the little fun decorative touches on things. That way they're not all in one video. But today I plan on doing the window curtains out of those vintage sheets. I'm making a sewing machine cover for dust and cat hair. I'm gonna make a matching computer printer cover also for dust and cat hair. And let's see. Oh, and then I'm gonna paint a little paper mache box right there that used to, you know, has a rooster on it, but I'm going to paint it and put a little rose transfer on there to be able to hold the stuff in that little cup right there, because I don't like it looking like that. I want it kind of covered, but that's like a little stapler and pencil sharpener and, you know, erasers, rubber bands, that type of stuff. And I want them out, so I just don't want them to be seen. So I'm going to decorate that, and then like I said, I'm just going to work on lots of little stuff today. And then, depending on what I get done, I might start on without going too fast, I'm going to make like a huge slip cover that's going to go over all of this with a slit down the middle. That way I can lift up to get stuff out. You know, lift that up to be able to get stuff out. So I can't wait for all this stuff to be gone. This is going to storage tomorrow. And that's going to one of the kids' grandkids. And that's going to my sister's. Then I have to figure out what to do with that, because it does not separate and it's too tall. So I'm going to have to, and that means it won't fit inside the closet. So I need to figure out what to do with that. So, and then there's going to be, all of this is going to get put away. Well, that's my sewing stuff. That's going to get put away. That's going to get put away, so this will all be empty. And then a big wooden shelf is going to go kind of across there. All of my, like some of my childhood memories, like my lunchbox and my baby shoes my mom had bronzed, and some baby pictures, my senior pictures, some stuff like that is going to go on there. And then pictures of my kids and grandkids are going to go on this wall. So I'll probably, once I get the shelf up with my things on there, I'll film that, but then after that I won't ever really show that, or it'll be blurred out because for their privacy. So they don't want to be on here, so that's totally okay. Especially the grandkids. So and I have to respect their privacy. That is a sweet potato that has rooted or sprouted that I need to it's kind of an experiment. It was from last year, actually, that I'll need to take off and then root the slips so that I can plant those in May. So it's kind of funny. It looks pretty sad, but there's green on there. So anyways, yeah, just a bunch of this stuff needs to get put away, and I want to get all the fluffing done first before I start doing all that. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I'm going to remind you to please always be kind. I hope you enjoyed this. I mean, right now it's a little messy because I'm working on stuff, but yeah, remember to always be kind and do what makes you happy. And I hope this inspired you to tackle some spaces of your own. Most of this stuff, well, yeah, most of the stuff I already had. So I've just kind of picked it up at thrift stores throughout the years, or just this last year, just picking up some florals. You know, I had all of those plates, most of the florals. I mean, that little thing I picked up, oh, I think it was last year in a thrift haul, and I painted it white. It has my essential oils in it. But yeah, just stuff. I mean, that little green vase was something from my mom. That green floral vase in the back there was my grandma's. So yeah, it's just fun. Just collect stuff and then just have a space of your own. So, oh, and real quick, got this from Amazon yesterday. It's kind of a leather padded, got a computer stand. I got this lamp, real fast. Got that lamp. And there's a white wicker basket behind there. Oh, and this cutest little thing ever. It puts out some sound, I tell you. I can't do sound on YouTube because they won't play it. But look at this. I mean, that's how big it is. But that's a Bluetooth speaker. That looks like a retro radio. And it has 2 different color handles, but I don't want them on there. And then you just charge it with a USB charger, or you connect it with an aux cord to your phone. But that is the cutest little thing. I mean, seriously, it's like 2 inches tall, and what is that? Maybe 3 inches wide. I think it was like $16 on Amazon. If someone's interested, just send me, or just post a comment and I'll send you the link. So, oh, there's Jean and I, one of our engagement photos. But anyways, see you on the next video. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.